Alright, so we got another one of these MSI laptops with fan issues. Seems to be a very common issue. This is an MSI GS63VR, 6RF-469US, and then there's a bunch of code at the end, and that's kind of like the specifications or something, so I'm not going to use that. Anyways, we're going to use a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver to remove all the screws from the bottom. You want to keep them all in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down on my desk, oops, like this. In the pattern I remove them, okay? Also, this looks like the customer opened it up, so if anything looks different or off, keep that in mind. It could be the customer just moved stuff. That first screw I removed was pretty tough to pull off, so I have a feeling the customer might have put it in wrong or something. Alright, anyways, if this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, I don't know why that screw is stuck in there. I'm going to use a magnet to get it out. There we go. Okay. And we'll stick that up. You don't really need to use a magnet to get those out, but you want to be careful when you pull the cover out that you catch the screws so that they don't just go flying everywhere. Okay. And also for the screws, because there are a lot and all in different layout, if you want, you can put like 3 like that, and if you want, you can put like 4 in a row like this. Whatever works for you. You can also keep it in the same pattern that you see. Yeah, whatever works and helps you remember where you got the screws from. All right. But I kind of do it that way because limited space, it makes it a little bit easier. Okay. And we're going to put these 4 in a row. Also, there's this battery reset hole there. You can use like a bent, a folded out paper clip. One of those small ones, and you can actually push and hold that button. That's if there's some power issue with the computer. Maybe sometimes if it doesn't turn on at all, sometimes pressing that will help reset the battery and will allow you to do that. It basically is like a hard power off or something. All right. Anyways, we're almost done getting all these screws out. Once we've done that, we're gonna pop this thing open. This thing, because there's felt, you can't really use a suction cup anywhere except for kind of in the middle. So let's kind of see if we can pop it up without that. Let's see. Do we need a suction cup? Probably not, but let's try it. Okay, it might make it easier. Let's go from the middle. Uh-oh, I guess we can't even suction there. Yeah, so can't suction there. So what we're going to do, we're just going to work our way around just like on other models. Let me make sure all the screws are out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I get my fingernails in the gap here between the bottom cover and the panel. Okay, I'm going to open this a little bit and I'm going to kind of push with my thumb on here, not on the palm rest. Not on the trackpad. You don't want to damage that. Okay, and then when I do that, you can see it forms a gap, and now I can kind of reach in there. And once we get that gap kind of going, we can kind of go along the edges. Okay. And I'm just running my fingernail along there. You can use plastic pry tools, whatever works for you. Okay, and we're just going to slowly keep working our way down and see if we can pop these clips out. They're actually not popping out, so, I mean, my fingernail gets in the gap, but it seems like the clips don't want to come out. The sides actually come up really easily. I don't know if that's because the customer worked on it before. Okay, it looks like when I flex it inwards like this, so basically I push down with my thumb up here and pull up in the center with my other fingers, it flexes it and pulls the clips inwards, and as you can see now we have this completely open. Okay, we're going to go around the back now. And which model was this one? Does it come out from this side or up here? Okay, I think this one actually comes out from this up here, so we're gonna have to get in there and pop that out. Okay, so I'm just getting my fingernail in there, pulling this piece out, and then it releases those clips from the little gaps that hold it in place. So let me see. So here you can see, can you see it? There's a little gap, those. All right, so there's those little holes in there, and then this piece just has little pieces that stick out and grab in there. Okay, so this fan, I can tell this fan already is the bad one. Let me see, is this one also bad? Okay, so here you can see this fan is good. What happens with the good fan, let me zoom in. When you spin it, you can see it stops and then it just wiggles. All right, but when you go to these bad fans, you see how it just gets stuck. Okay, this one too. So actually both of those fans are bad on theirs. And to repair that, I am going to have to take the entire motherboard out, it seems. And this one is one of kind of the annoying designs. So yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and get this thing apart. First thing we're gonna do, of course, is disconnect the battery. So let's see, I'm gonna turn it this way and see if that makes it easier. You wanna kind of try and grab as close as you can to the connector as possible. If you can, I'm gonna push the plastic part here and kind of just wiggle the cables and use that. You kind of just wiggle it side to side as you kind of keep pulling, and eventually it will come out. Let me go. I guess it's easier with just the cables. There you go. And you want to be careful when you pull this out that you pull this straight back. You don't want to bend the pins inside there in the battery connector. Okay, if you bend those, you're going to have some problems. Anyways, once we disconnect the battery, what we're going to do, we're going to open up the laptop. Then you want to press and hold the power button for 15 seconds. This will drain any residual power and make it a lot safer to work on. All right, give me a second. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, maybe, no, I don't know. I'm about to sneeze, but I'm also not going, I don't know. All right, we'll hold it a few more seconds. I guess the sneeze went away. Okay. All right, now that we got that, we're gonna have to disconnect all the little cables in here so that we can remove the motherboard. Okay, so first thing, let's actually zoom in a bit here so you can see better. I have limited space to move my laptop around to show, but I'll do what I can. Sorry, it's not my laptop, it's a customer's laptop. But yeah, all right, let's go ahead and peel this adhesive out of the way. All right, if you want, you can kind of leave it attached to the cable or something, but we're gonna flip this dark gray latch up. All right, just like that. Once you flip that up, we can go underneath, grab the cable and kind of wiggle to pull it out. You want to make sure that you did the battery drain with the holding the power button after disconnecting the battery. If you don't and you remove this, there's a good chance you're going to fry your motherboard. Okay, either that or you'll fry the backlight circuit. Okay, now that we got that, we're going to peel this off. There's adhesive. Try and keep the cable as flat as possible. You don't want to fold it backwards or anything. Okay, so that came out. We're going to now disconnect this cable here. This is for the little light where the power button is. All right, so flip that and then we'll grab this and pull this back. All right, we're gonna have to tilt that up out of the way and be careful not to damage these cables. Again, you don't want to crease them too much because then you can permanently damage them. Okay, next we got the wireless card over here. Okay, so we're gonna peel this out of the way. We just want to move this so that we can get access to the antennas and stuff. Actually, the antennas are going underneath this board over here. So let's actually remove that whole board. So we're going to remove this board on the side here for the SD card slot and the Ethernet port. Okay, so remove those two screws. Again, try and keep all the screws in order. It's very important. If you mix them up, you can damage your computer. These screws are skinnier than the other ones, even though they are similar length. All right, now that we got those two screws out, we can kind of lift this up. There's some adhesive holding this in place, so we're going to use this plastic tool to kind of get the adhesive up. All right, peel that out of the way, and then we're going to flip this latch. All right, now that we flip that latch, we should be able to pull this cable out. I'm going to just leave the cable attached to this one, but yeah, and this is what it looks like in case you want to order one and see if it looks the same. Okay, so there we go. Okay, next thing we got wireless antennas. If you look at this, you will notice that they labeled this wrong. So you have the black antenna going to the white triangle and the white one going to the black triangle. That's not right, but anyways, we're just gonna pop it out. That's how they designed it, so we're gonna put it back that way. Okay, you just pull up from the tails. I don't know if you saw, but basically just pull straight up from the tail and it pops out just like that. We're gonna leave the wires in place, but we do have to remove the wireless card, otherwise it'll get yanked on when we try and pull the motherboard out. Okay, so we'll remove that one screw. Once you remove that screw, you can lift it up slightly at an angle. I'm going to use this raised bit of the wireless card to help pull it out, and there we go. And we'll set that aside. Okay, and I'll put the screw with it so it's easy to remember. Okay, let's see what else. Let's go ahead and do all the connectors first, even though there's other screws we can remove. Okay, so we got this piece here. Let's go ahead and peel this stuff back. All right, I don't know why they have all this tape all over it, but we got the keyboard backlight cable here. If you're wondering, I'm trying to avoid ripping out the battery because the battery is held in with adhesive, and if I peel it out, it's not going to go back in easily, but it's looking like I might actually have to remove the battery. So let's actually go ahead and remove the battery. Let me zoom out. Why isn't it zooming out? There we go. Okay, so we're going to remove the battery. You can use what you have on hand, but it works best with a thin tool like this. You don't want it sharp, okay? I know somebody's going to complain that it's made of metal, but it doesn't matter. As long as you're not cutting through the battery pack, you should be fine. Oh, let's actually also remove the hard drive over here real quick. Okay, so we'll get under here, peel that out of the way, and flip that latch up, and then you can actually pull this cable out. Actually, it's also attached to this, so make sure to flip that latch up as well. And then I'm going to move that, and I'll leave the tape attached to the hard drive one. You can pull that out just like that, and it helps to use like a T8 or Torx 8 screwdriver, or you can use something similar size, whatever fits into the screw hole here. Okay, so I put it in the screw hole there of the hard drive, and then we can use that to help lift it out, so just like that. And that's how you can easily pull the hard drive out of there. Okay, set the hard drive aside. All right, then we got this connector here. We're going to pull that out as well. All right, you got this little connector here for, what is that? That's for, oh, this is for the power button. So we'll flip that latch up. This one is for the LEDs. Okay. I had a customer that told me they were on their way probably more than an hour ago, so I might have to pause the video in a bit if they're here. Let me double check. Okay, give me a second, I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So we got that disconnected. It looks like this speaker we're gonna have to lift out as well. It's not held in with screws, it just has the little rubber pieces holding it. And if you want, you can actually leave that attached to the motherboard, but we're gonna just disconnect the connector. So you just go with the wings and you kind of just wiggle it and pull it just like that, and it comes out like this. Make sure you put it back the right way. If you replace the speaker, make sure you put it that it's not twisted around, because if it's upside down like this, you can damage your computer. You can damage the pins. So you want these exposed pins actually facing down. They actually mark this with a black marker so you know which side faces up. Okay, so we'll set that aside. All right, it looks like this model is actually different than the one I worked on before. Okay, and actually there's also the Cmos BIOS battery under here. So yeah, to remove, I guess we're gonna have to pry the battery out. So let's go ahead and completely pull the battery out. We're gonna get under here. So what I do is I get this tool and I kind of just lift it. You wanna do this very slowly. You don't wanna try and force it out quickly. Again, there is adhesive holding this in place, so it's not something that's just gonna rip out quickly. Okay, so we got that out. Now that I got under there, you can actually see part of the adhesive here. I'm pulling it up the other way, and you can kind of push on the adhesive there to kind of get it to release a little bit. So I'm pushing on the adhesive there, and you can see it's kind of releasing. Okay, you want to be careful because the trackpad is under there. You don't want to just force that up. Okay, all right, let's get under this side as well, and same thing, we're going to kind of pull it back. All right, and there's more adhesive on this side that you can kind of push on, but it is also trapped under there with some stuff, so I'm going to use this tool to get in there. Okay, just to push the adhesive down, try and get it to release. It looks like it's not going to release from there. It's actually stretching away from the cover, so I guess it is what it is. We're going to have to just pry it up. Okay, so slowly releasing this. Okay, And we're going to work our way towards the center. I'm just going to get my fingers in underneath and slowly keep pulling it up. You want to try and keep the battery flat if you can. You don't want to like fold it in half. All right, and you can see we got most of it out. We're going to tip this forward. And I think, is it just the yellow tape holding it now or something? This yellow tape is actually holding it. Okay, so we're going to peel this. This rubber piece came out with it. All right, as you can see, this rubber piece actually just sits like that. It's like vertical, and it's just as a spacer. But here you can see we got the battery out, and the adhesive, some of it did stick, other ones of it just tore. And the battery model number is right here, BTY-M6J. All right, we're gonna set the battery aside now. Okay. All right, now we have easier access to all these components here. Again, I don't know why they put all this Kapton tape here. This is like a temperature electrical tape, high temp electrical tape. Anyways, let's go ahead and zoom in and start disconnecting these cables. Okay, so make sure flip that latch up. Then you can actually pull that out. Actually, I'm gonna peel most of this Kapton tape stuff out of the way. So let's roll it this way. You can see that little triangle or square thing came with it. Again, it just goes vertical like that, okay, and just like this one. All right, now that we got that out of the way, we can go ahead and pull this out. We're gonna flip this latch up, pull this out. This is the keyboard connector. This is the keyboard backlight. This is the trackpad or touchpad, whatever you want to call it, okay. Be careful with this cable. You don't want to crease it or make dents and cuts into it. All right, we're gonna peel this adhesive up as well, underneath there. Okay, just like that. Same thing with this side. All right, just like that. Okay, now that we got that up, let's go ahead and flip that latch. Okay, now that we got that latch, we can go ahead and pull this back. Okay, just like that. And this cable is for the 3 USB-C or USB 3 ports, as well as the headphone audio jack and the speaker down here, okay, for the speaker here. So everything connects to this one little board. And yeah, all right, I think we got all the connectors out. So next thing we gotta do is just remove the rest of the screws and pop the motherboard out. If you want, you can mark these with a marker because they don't have anything that tells you where the screws are getting pulled out from. So I like to get like a different colored marker. Let's see, here we go. So like a blue Sharpie or something. We'll take, oops, I need to switch back to the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver. Okay, so when I take these screws out, I like to just mark it. Okay. I mean, you have the video, so you can watch where each screw came from, but I don't have the, like, I won't be able to rewatch my video while I'm doing this because I'm actually showing you guys on the computer I'm using. Okay, we're gonna disconnect this as well. Or undo that screw as well. Right, again, the screws are different, slightly different size, shape, and length, so don't mix them up. Okay, so we got those two. What else we got? Right, it looks like there's not too many. You got two down here, and then you got two up here, and then it looks like there's one holding the fan in place. Okay, so nothing too confusing, but I like to mark it anyways, just so it's easier to keep track of. All right. So we'll mark that. Okay, and then the last screw here, of course we can't really mark that one, but I'll just put it in line with the other ones so I can tell where it came from. Okay, so let's see, is that enough? Can we lift this out now? Is there something else holding it down? Sometimes there might be. So far I don't see anything else holding it in place. Oh, oops, there's one more screw up here. Don't screw up like me and forget that one. Okay, get that one. And mark that as well. Okay. All right, I think that's all the screws we got. So we are gonna have to carefully lift this up without damaging anything. Okay, as you can see, we're just gonna lift carefully like this. Helps sometimes to kind of use the fan to lift it, but you do want to be careful. Okay. Wow, this one's kind of stuck in here. grab from the motherboard. You want to be careful also with the heat pipe that you don't accidentally bend that thing. Why is it stuck so strong down there? Okay, I don't know what's holding it so tight. I'm going to lift from here as well. Okay, it looks like that's working. There we go. All right. So now that we got that, we can kind of grab the whole motherboard here. Be careful with the heatsink. I am kind of grabbing it a little bit, but very gently. But if you do that, you want to be very careful. Let's get all these cables underneath so it's a little bit out of the way. Okay, let's move over to here. Hopefully we didn't forget any other screws. Looks like we're good. Okay, so we gotta wiggle this carefully, gently, just to kind of loosen it. Something is holding it. Oh, also don't forget the Cmos or BIOS battery. If you don't want to reset the BIOS, you can actually peel this battery away. So I'm going to actually peel this battery up. Okay, it looks like the adhesive sucks on that battery and it's not going to be reusable. Actually, it might be a little bit. But there we go. We disconnected we just unstuck the battery from there. Okay, we're going to get these cables underneath. And I don't know why it's stuck here. There's something holding it. But let's go ahead and keep carefully lifting slightly and kind of wiggling this. Is there a screw on the opposite side there? What? That doesn't make sense. Well, we'll carefully keep lifting. Again, very carefully, and there we go. Okay, so we got the motherboard out. What is that screw? Oh, okay, that screw is for the SSD here. Okay, anyways, we got this out. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna move this aside. I am gonna clean it up because it is a little bit dusty, but not too bad. And I'm also gonna clean this up because that's also pretty dusty. Okay, so I'll do that real quick and I'll be back. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. Oh, one thing I didn't mention because I didn't know until it fell off. But this piece comes off just like this, okay? This tab on the end here goes over the top of this piece, but the other ones have little notches that they go into. So what you do is you tilt it so that these notches go into these holes. Let me actually see if I can show you here. So let me get the notches in and then I will show you kind of a close-up. Okay, so here you can see this one's going through here, this one's going through here, this one is going through here. Okay, another one going through here, here, and then this one actually goes on top. So once you get everything in, you just rotate it. All right, there is a notch at the bottom of this one too, but it doesn't actually go into the notch. The reason it has that notch is because if you look at this, there's actually a raised edge on the end. So basically that just grips into that notch there. Okay, and that's how that works. So we're going to get this back in, flip that up. Okay, so now I'm going to clean that up and I'll be back. I already cleaned the other part. Okay, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, so I'm back. You can see it's a lot cleaner now. Okay, all right, both sides. And actually when I was spinning this fan really fast, it also sounds not too great. So we'll see, maybe I'll fix that one or lube that one up as well. Okay, so what we're gonna do, let's zoom in here. We're gonna have to disconnect the two fans here first. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this tool to move this tape out of the way. We're gonna disconnect the fan just like all the other connectors. You grab the wings. Okay, this cable's a little bit in the way, so I'm gonna try and move it out. All right, grab the wings of the connector and then you kind of just wiggle it as you kind of pull, and it should eventually just walk its way out. There you go. And again, make sure you take note of which way the cable is facing. You want the solid plastic face up. You don't want the pins exposed when you plug this in. Okay, same thing. We're going to disconnect this cable as well. Just wiggle, wiggle, and there we go. Same thing with the pins, exposed pins facing down. Okay, next we're going to switch to a PH0 or JIS0 screwdriver. And we're going to remove the screws that are holding the fans onto this metal plate. Okay, there's one screw up in this corner. All right, we'll get that one out. There's another screw over here. I believe there might be some clips on this model, but we'll just remove what we see for now. Okay, there's another screw down here. Okay, there's another screw over here. All right, and then we got one screw here. So 5 screws. This one will be a little bit tricky because of the way they have this little screw mount or screw thingy in place. Here you can see it's kind of wobbling now. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna flip this over. And there is a little clip there. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a metal clip that you kind of sometimes have to push aside. Let's see if we can get the fan out. So you can see we can lift this. Oops, let me get some stuff out of the way to show this. Actually, I'll flip it upside down. Okay, so what we can do, we can lift this up here, okay? And then this clip is actually holding it in place, so I'm gonna use this plastic tool to kind of push that clip aside. Okay, and we should be able to, there we go. Then we can lift the whole thing, slide it over. You wanna be careful because the cables are kind of tucked in, caught, and getting caught over there. So, oh, there we go, slide that out. Okay, and now we got the fan assembly out. If you want, at this time, you want to actually clean this better. So I actually used an air blower and cleaned it earlier, but you can see it's still dirty inside. So I'm just going to brush this off over the trash next to me. And yeah, I'll be back. All right, so I'm back. We cleaned out the, I don't know what you would call that, the radiator fins, I guess. All right, heatsink fins. You can see it's a lot cleaner now. You can actually even see through the fins. That's how you know it's clean. All right. Yeah, basically the other one too. Anyways, we're gonna move this aside for now because we actually want to repair the fan propellers. So let me see, how can I put this? I'm running out of room here. Okay, maybe like that. No. Okay. I'm gonna move that out of the way. So we have the fan propellers here. Hopefully this design, we can just pull these propellers off. The safest way though, instead of like pulling this, because these propellers are very thin, is you push on this center plastic ring in the middle, just like this, and it looks like it's coming out. So yep, there we go. All right, it came out, and you can see there's more dust here that we can actually clean off as well if you want. Usually what causes the fans to go like this is high humidity or very fine dust. Okay, we're gonna clean the shaft or whatever that thing is called on here that goes into this sleeve. Okay, all right, and then what we're gonna do, we're just gonna add some oil in there. You want to use some kind of oil or grease for moving parts. I'm just gonna use some synthetic motor oil. I don't have my car that needs oil anymore, so I have like almost unlimited of this oil now that I'm never gonna use. So what we're gonna do, what I do is I tip this, the oil sideways, and then I use a little tool, kind of, you can use a needle or a paper clip or whatever works, just to get some oil on there. And then we're just gonna get it into this piece here. I probably should have showed you guys first what happens with the original fan. So let me show you with this small one. You'll probably hear the noise. I don't know if you hear that buzzing. I can definitely feel it. If I touch it to the camera, or the camera while I do it, I don't know, it's tough to do it, but hopefully you guys can actually hear that buzzing noise. Anyways, now we're gonna put this propeller back on. Okay, you can see how much better it is already. Look at that, so much better. Okay, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna pop this back out. Okay, we wanna make sure that it's good. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pop that out. We're gonna use the paper towel and we're gonna wipe that. Usually it's gonna leave some grayish black oil, but actually, hey, there's not even much oil that came out. That's weird. Okay, so anyways, let's go ahead and add more oil in there. Maybe this one, the oil just somehow all dried up or something, which is really weird. Right, we're gonna add more oil into that. Okay, normally when you do this, the thing will come out like gray. Okay, let's see how nice it's spinning. All right, this one will probably come out. Yeah, it comes out easily. Let's go ahead and wipe it again. Wow, it's just eating the oil. So I don't know what's going on. It's not really getting any oil off on the paper. So let's go ahead and add some more. Okay, this thing must be like really missing the oil. So we'll get that in. All right. Let's pull this back out. Again, you want to be careful if you're pulling from the propellers because it is not as strong, these blades. Okay, and the oil's actually coming out not too bad. So we're just going to add a little bit more oil in there, and then we'll probably just put it back together. And we'll do the same thing with the other propeller as well, of course. Okay. All right, we'll get some more oil in there. There we go. Clean off the tool. Actually, I shouldn't clean it yet because I'm going to have to put the other one. But anyways, we'll put this back in. All right, and I like to spin it around a bit just to make sure it coats everything up. Okay, now the other side. Also, I don't see a fan model number. I guess there's some information here. Oh, maybe it's that BS5005HS-U2L1, but it's probably best to search your laptop model and fan, and you can find it. And then they have another A-Power GPU. So this is, of course, the GPU fan. Anyways, let's go ahead and push out this propeller here. Same thing. Go from the other side. Hopefully it will pop out. Looks like it will. Okay, there we go. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to wipe this off. Since I have some oil on this, I'm just going to use that oily part to kind of wipe it. So it also greases it. Here you can actually see the gray stuff I was referring to. And there we go. Okay, so we're going to add grease to this fan now as well. Same thing, just get the bottle, tilt it over, dab it on there, get that in just like that. Okay, now when we put this back, you should see a huge difference. Okay. Look how it spins now. So much better. Okay, so we got that. We're going to now lift this back off. Again, very carefully if you're pulling from here. Okay, and then we're going to wipe this up and see if it's still gray or if it's clean. See how gray that is? So what we're going to do, we're going to keep adding grease in here, pulling it out and cleaning it until the oil comes out clean. Okay, get some more grease in there. Okay. Okay, now we're going to get this. Same thing, let's clean it again. Hey, it came out dry this time. What? Okay, let's add some more grease and do it again. I don't know where the oil's going. Okay, get the grease all in there. All right, we'll put this fan propeller back on. Smush it in, spin it around. All right, pull this back up. Wipe this back off. Okay, so we're going to start in a new spot. And you can see it's getting better. Probably one more time and we should be good. All right. So get some oil again. All right. Get the propellers back in. Oops, put it upside down. All right, spin it around, pop it back out. All right, we're gonna wipe it over here, okay? And let's see, and now you can see it looks clean. So we're just gonna put one more drop of oil in there, put the propellers back on, reassemble it, and we should be good to go. All right, and of course, I will do the other side as well, just to be safe, because it does seem to be getting a little bit bad. Okay, we're gonna spin both these fans up. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna set the oil aside for now. All right, let's go ahead and reassemble this thing. So, basically, just doing everything back the way we had it. So let's zoom out again. Okay. Uh-oh, it's my other customer here. Let me check real quick. Okay, no, should be okay. All right, so we got the motherboard here. Basically, we're gonna now put it back. I'm gonna flip it upside down again just so I have better viewing angle for you guys, but normally I would work on it the other way. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we have to slide all of this stuff back underneath, so get the cables back under there. Okay, just like this. And then there's also that metal clip. If you want, you can actually even bend this metal clip over slightly so it holds it better. So let me actually do that real quick. So this metal tab that we bent a little bit, we're gonna kind of bend it back over, okay? And that way when we put this back, it'll actually grab that little part that sticks out again. Okay, just like this, slide it into place. Okay, get all of that into place. It's not quite lined up right, so let's see, why isn't it going? It's not wanting to slide over. There we go. Okay, so now we got it all lined up. Make sure all the screw holes are lined up. I'm gonna keep my hand under here actually, and that will help hold it in place. And while I'm doing that, we're gonna get the screws and we're gonna get it in. I like to twist the screw backwards until I feel it click, and that means it's going in the right way. The screw should be pretty easy to twist into place. If it's difficult to twist into place, you're probably putting it in at a different angle or starting at a different spot, and you want to actually take the screw back out and then do it to where it's easier to twist, because otherwise you'll damage the plastic that holds the fan, and then the next time the screw might not hold at all. Okay, so we got those two in. Now I can go ahead and let go. We're gonna get these screws in. Okay, and you don't want to put too much downward pressure because it will flex, and you don't want to bend the fans or anything there. Okay, so we'll get this one in. Good, and the last screw. All right, the cables actually almost naturally just plug themselves back in. Here you can see. All right, basically grab both sides and pinch it back together and push on the plastic. Actually, let me pull it out and make sure. Okay, it is good. All right, and then pinch that back in. There we go. Get this one, same thing. Line it up and pinch that back in. Nice. All right, let's go ahead and see if the other fan, if we can get it out somewhat relatively easily, then we'll do that one as well. So let's rotate this upside down now. Okay, I guess I can zoom in a bit more because this one is easier, smaller. All right, same thing, we'll grab the wings of the connector, wiggle it, pop that out. Okay, so we're gonna get this screw here, and then this screw there. I think there's only 3 screws on this one. Okay. We're doing this upside down, so again, keep track of all the screws. Make sure you get the screws back where they came from. Okay, and we got one more screw here. All right, so now we got those 3 out. We're gonna flip this back over and see if we can lift this one out easily. This one has this on it, so we might not be able to easily remove that, but we'll find out. Is this taped on? Why'd they tape this one on and not the other one? Well, let's see. We can somewhat lift this side. Did I miss a screw or something? No, we got all the screws. Does this one have a clip? No, it doesn't even have the clip. So that's why they use the tape, it looks like, because there's no clip here. Should I redo it? It definitely doesn't feel perfect. So let's actually go ahead and redo this fan as well. I'm using a plastic razor blade here to kind of get underneath. Okay, and hopefully we can peel this up, kind of. Okay, I guess I'll just use the plastic razor blade the whole way. Kind of cut at an angle here. There we go. All right, so we got that. Let's go ahead and pop this out. If anything, at least now we can also clean out the dust in there. So you can see it lifts slightly. Oops, let me zoom out a tiny bit. Lifts slightly at an angle here. I think we can actually lift this whole side up first. Uh-oh, this side's gonna be tough. Is it trapped under in 2 spots? Yeah. So this side is trapped in 2 spots, so this one would be a lot more difficult to remove. One way I kind of do this is I push the heatsink down like that and pull up the motherboard. And then hopefully we can kind of swing this out. It might help to actually peel this off completely, so let's do that. Okay. All right, so we're gonna push this down slightly, lift this up, and we kind of have to go at a weird angle. We might have to rotate it. If it's too much trouble to remove, I might not do this one, just because this one's more of a pain. But let's see. Okay, so let me zoom out a bit more. Yeah, this one's a lot more of a pain to remove. It's getting caught. What is it getting caught on here? I think what it is the lip of the fan here. So there's actually a small, like, slight edge to this fan, this metal piece, that you kind of have to lift up, okay, to get it out. And that's making it difficult. So yeah, the corner edge, I think, here. So I have to get underneath and lift this metal up out of the way. Okay. I guess might as well, I'll show this because it's more difficult. So hopefully, there you go. And now we can rotate the fan out. Again, I was pulling this side up. And there we go. We got the fan out. Okay, we're gonna move this out of the way. And same thing, we're gonna push this through, hopefully. Yep, there you go. Okay, let's go ahead and clean this out. All right, we can actually also check in here. Yeah, it's a little dusty in there. And oh, that's actually a lot of dust in there. There's a big clump. Okay, so we're gonna clean this off over the trash and I'll be back. All right, so I'm back. We cleaned that out, as you can see. Okay, just like the other one. All right, let's set this aside. I'm gonna be very careful with the motherboard and stuff. Okay, so same thing, we're gonna add grease to this. Oop. Almost dropped my bottle of grease, of oil. All right, and we're just gonna add oil in there, clean it out. Okay, get the oil in there. Put the propellers back on top. Okay, push it down. Spin it around. Good. All right, let's carefully pop it back out. Let's clean it off and see what it looks like. Not too bad. We'll do one more and I think we should be okay. Well, one more clean out and then add grease. Okay. Good. Put that back in there. Okay, and we'll pop this back out again. One more clean spot of the paper towel. And yeah, that's pretty clean. Okay, so we're gonna put just one more drop of oil in there, and then we're gonna put it all back together, and we should be good to go. So there we go. Okay. All right, should be good with that. Get this back in. All right, we'll put this oil away. All right, spin the fan around. Good to go. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing back together. So again, this one was a bit tricky because of the way we have to kind of get everything guided. Putting it back will be a little bit easier, but you still have to kind of pull this down. So I don't know if you saw, I was separating it like this, and that's how I was able to pull this out. Okay, so we're gonna slide this side in first, and then once you get that, we can actually rotate this side over and get that under, just like that, and there we go. It drops in nicely. All right, I'm gonna flip this back over here so you can see the other side. Again, I am gonna hold the fan into place here so that it doesn't move around. Make sure all three screw holes line up. Okay, and then we're gonna get the screws back in. All right, so hold that into place. Get that in. Again, the screw should go pretty easily when you first start turning it. Once you get to the end, it will become difficult again. And that's how you know you got it in right. Okay, there we go. All right, the last screw. Then we'll have to put some kind of adhesive to hold that back into place. if it doesn't hold by itself. We'll find out. Okay, so we got all those screws back in. We're done with the PH0, JS0, so we'll put that away and we'll switch back to the PH1, JS1 screwdriver. All right, let's flip this back over and see what we got. Okay, so this, you just gotta line it back up. If it's creased, you can actually crease it back the other way. And let's see if it will stick. All right. Okay, it does somewhat stick, but not completely. So you might have to kind of push it and rub it into place. And, yeah, not good enough. So what I'm gonna do, we're just gonna use some glue stick, okay? And we're just gonna coat this with the glue stick. All right, this one is purple when it's not dry, so you can kind of see exactly where you put it. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and reattach this piece, and we should be good to go. We'll just line it up, stick it down. Okay, and then once it hardens, we should be good. So clean the glue off my fingers. If you want, you could also clean off the residue with rubbing alcohol, and then you can just use tape. You don't need to use this specific piece. There's nothing really special about this. Okay. All right, we're just putting that so it stays in place. Good. All right, let's make sure the fan spins well. Nice. Just tested all the fans. Again, you want to see that it has that nice wiggle jiggle at the end. I don't know if it shows up well in camera, but all right, there we go. And then we got that, and it will stick in place, so we should be good. This is basically just holding the gap here between the two pieces. Okay. All right, now we got everything. Oh, I forgot to show you guys. So there's a M.2. This is a M.2 SATA SSD. I don't know if it supports PCIe NVMe. I would assume it should. I don't know why they put an M.2 SATA, because M.2 PCIe NVMe's are a lot faster. So yeah, I don't know why they put that. All right, and then you got 2 sticks of RAM. Oh, it's the Kingston stuff. I hate the Kingston RAMs because they don't really show you the speed and stuff on it. So if I pop this out, the other one's already, but I pulled the 2 tabs to the side, it pops up, and here you can see they only have like the kind of the specific model of this RAM, but they don't have the speed. I know it's DDR4 or PC4, but I don't know what the actual speed of it is because they don't write it on the label. All right, anyways, don't forget to plug in the fan connector, of course. So we're gonna line that up, and we're just gonna pinch that in. Good. All right, let's go ahead and get the thing back into the case. All right, so we'll get the case over here, and this can be a bit tricky just because all these cables are all over, and you want to make sure they end up back on top of the computer. You don't want them going underneath the motherboard. Okay, so that's very important. So we're going to grab this, we're going to have it go at an angle like that. You want to hold these 2 cables out of the way. Okay, let me actually zoom out a bit more here. Okay, hopefully you guys can see everything. So I'm going to hold these 2 cables out of the way down here. Okay, and we're going to get this corner in first. All right, so now that we got that, you're going to slowly lower this while making sure all the other cables end up back on top. So I'm going to get my hands under there, slowly getting these on top. Slowly lowering this, make sure, uh-oh, this isn't lining up right, so we got to fix that. So lift that back up again. Make sure, I don't know why it's not going in all the way. Is it the USB-C port? One of the ports are kind of like have to go into here, I think, and that's what's causing problems. I think it's the USB-C port. So the way when you lower it down, it has to be going into the slot. Okay, so we're gonna angle this up a lot, And then lower this down. Huh, this is tricky. Why is it so tough? Okay, also there's this little metal peg here that sticks up, so you want to make sure that goes into that little hole down there. Sorry, you can't even see. There you go. There's a little hole right next to that screw mount that needs to line up. Very important. Okay, if that's not lined up, then none of this is going to go in. So okay, oh, I think it's also hitting up here, so you want to be careful with that. Oh, make sure all these cables end up on top. Okay, make sure that ends up on top. Okay. I think this isn't actually lining up right, is it? It's hard to do this while kind of trying to show it because I want to... Okay, there we go. Line up that little hole a tiny bit. Okay, it was a little bit actually too close in. Then we got to get all these little cables out. So make sure that one's on top. Make sure the keyboard cable's on top. And you don't want to be too rough with these cables because if you damage them, you're gonna be screwed. Okay. Slowly lowering this down. I'm gonna work my way over here. Don't forget the cable back here for the light. Okay, get that up. Oh, oops, the LCD cable is, sorry, LCD cable is going all the way under there, so make sure that's on top as well. Okay, oops, did I accidentally pop that back out? Okay, looks good. Make sure this trackpad cable and this USB port cables are all on top. Sorry if I'm going out of view. Okay, and then we're going to continue slowly lowering this down. Where's the, okay, both antennas are there. Slowly lowering it down into place. Oh, that cable went back underneath. So annoying. Okay, make sure that cable ends up back on top. Then make sure that you kind of have to pull this out a little bit to get the heatsink into place. Okay, and oh, this rubber piece, it's getting caught, so make sure you pull that out enough so it can drop. And there we go. I think we got everything lined up. All right, this rubber piece can kind of be annoying, so you want to be careful. All right, let's go ahead now, and I guess we can put back the screws. So I labeled them already, so I'm not going to really zoom in much. Hopefully you can kind of see where the screws are going. We got that one there. Okay, we got this one here. Okay, again, we had the Cmos or BIOS battery, so let's go ahead and just rotate that, flip that, and stick it back down there. Okay, just like that, and it does hold itself back into place, so you don't need to do any new adhesive or anything. Okay, tuck that around, make sure it's not smashing down on the keyboard connector. All right, then we got one up here. Okay, and then we got the 3 over here, so the 2 on the motherboard and then the 1 for the fan. So we'll get this one, and the last one here. Okay, so now we got all those in. Let's actually go ahead and put the wireless card first. Let me see, do I gotta zoom in for you guys to see this? All right, so this we're gonna put slightly at an angle. Okay, this one, because the way they designed it, it doesn't go as much as an angle as usual, but go like that and then push this in. Okay, kind of want to make sure it's in all the way. You kind of will know it's in all the way because it lines up with this. There's a raised portion of the wireless card screw mount, and that holds it in place. Then you just get this screw in. Okay, there we go. And then again, because they mixed up the wireless antennas, make sure you plug the black one to the black arrow, which is closer to the center of the card. Line it up. The way you know it's lined up, actually let me flip this over so you guys can see a bit better, and I'll zoom in more. Okay, so the way you know it's lined up is when you have it in the right spot. If you try and wiggle it around like side to side or front to back, it will actually stay in place. So here you can see now it gripped, and then we can go ahead and click that in. Right, we'll do the same thing with this one. Get it, make sure it hooks on. Okay, and once you're sure it's hooked on, you can kind of grab that and click that into place. There we go. And we can put this adhesive back on top, not that it really does anything. And then we can actually, we can actually also do the LCD LVDS connector. I'm doing it sideways now, just to make it easier for you guys to see. Okay. I peeled this off all the way. Anyways, make sure this latches up, of course. Okay, get that into place. And it's a little tricky because you have to have it slightly raised up. You don't want it all the way down. All right, and then while that's in place, just slide your finger over the top to latch it. Okay, and we're gonna just put this back on top. Did I flip this upside down on accident? Not that it matters. I like to try and keep it the same as it was. No, I think that was right. Okay. So stick that back on there. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then you can go ahead and push down the adhesive here again if you want. Let me zoom out. Okay. All right, what's next? We got all these other cables here. Let's actually put in this little board here for the USB or the SD card and that thing. Make sure this latches up, make sure the adhesive is out of the way, and we'll just guide this into place. Okay, once that's in, slide your finger over the latch again, and then you can put the tape down. Then we're going to go ahead and get this lined up. This one, they actually dented that, the side of this case. Let me see if I can actually flatten it out. I'm going to actually use a popsicle stick here. Okay, just to make sure it's flat, and then we're gonna push on that. It kind of worked. I guess I have to use my thumb to kind of push it in more. Yeah, it's kind of a little wavy, but all right, it's a lot better than before. Okay, so now we're just gonna drop this into place. Good, and then we'll get those two screws in. All right. Nice and simple, nothing too crazy about it. Okay, there we go. All right. Oh, they also bent this one, but oh, okay. This case here, this part is very flimsy, so all right, I think when they popped it out the last time, they kind of bent it all up. All right, let's get all the other connectors in. There's a lot of them. Peel up this adhesive, make sure it's pulled back. Okay. If there's dust or something in the connectors, you want to make sure that's out of the way. Get this lined up. Okay, it helps to kind of, oops, let me use, it's hard to see. It helps to kind of lift this up a little so that you can kind of curl it that way. That way the cable is actually shorter, and then it helps to guide that into place. Okay, so get that all lined up, get that in. All right, looks good. And then once you get that in, again, same thing, slide your finger over the latch to lock it in place, and then stick the tape back down. Okay, let's zoom in a bit more so you can see the other ones better. I'm gonna get this out of the way. Okay. All right, then we got the trackpad cable. Yeah, make sure the latch is up. Now line this up and get it in. Now that you got it in, slide your, oops, sorry. All right, so let me do that again just because it was out of view of camera. So line that up, get that into place, make sure it's in. You can also, the blue tab is slightly raised, so I like to use my fingernail to help push that into place, and then you just slide your finger over the latch. There we go. All right, keyboard connector, same thing. Make sure the latch is up and open. This one you can actually physically grab the blue tab separately from the cable, because it's not like attached completely across. Then you can use that to help push that in. You can see this flap goes separately, and then you can slide your finger over the latch just like that evenly to lock that in. You can do the same thing with the keyboard backlight connector. All right, again, make sure the latch is open. Okay, and you can grab the plastic part and line that up. There we go. There's some dust on it, I think, so clean that off, and then you can slide your finger over to latch it. And there we go. So we got all those cables. We're gonna flip this adhesive back. We're gonna get this rubber piece lined up with the motherboard again, and then just tape everything back down. Okay, just like that, easy peasy, nothing to it. All right, we got a few more connectors here. Let's see, can you see? All right, we got the LEDs right here, so flip that latch up. Same thing, get that lined up and just get it into place. Make sure it goes in straight, you don't want it crooked. There we go. And then slide your finger over to latch it down. Same thing with the power button connector. All right, this one you can somewhat lift the tab separately. So if you pull it back, I like to use my fingernail to kind of pull it back and then get that into place. There we go. And then slide your finger over. All right, now we got the hard drive here. I'm gonna have to zoom out for this, I think. Okay, so we got the hard drive. Let me zoom out again. Oops. All right, now that we got that, we're gonna hold the Kapton tape back. I'm gonna lift that up, and then we're just gonna slide that into place. There we go, lined up, and then just slide your finger over to latch it down. There we go. Then go ahead and stick that on top, and the hard drive just kind of falls into place here. Ooh, I almost forgot. We have to put the speaker in first. So actually, let's take this back out. Okay. And we're gonna lift this back up. It's easier now because the thing's not in the way. Okay, so speaker. Make sure you get this in right. Okay, again, with the part without the holes on top, and then just push that in. Good. Then line this all up with the little plastic mounts and drop that into place. Good. Be careful not to damage this speaker membrane. Okay, now we can go ahead and put the hard drive in. Same thing. Line it up. Get that in. Okay. Now that we got that lined up into place, use your finger, latch it down. Right. You can put that tape back on, and then we will just drop this into place. Perfect. All right, and last piece that we got to put is the battery. Okay, and I think we're pretty much done. We just put the cover back on and we should be good to go. They said their battery actually doesn't hold a charge, so I guess technically they can replace their battery if they want now, but excuse me, they just wanted me to fix the fan issue. Okay, so we're gonna put the battery back in. Make sure it lines up. You want to get this in, the connector in straight. Okay, you don't want to try and go in at an angle. And then I like to hold the case here while I kind of use my other fingers to pull it, and there we go. All right, and again, there's adhesive, so also these rubber pieces, so I like to kind of slide it in up this way, and then it kind of drops in where these plastic pieces are. And if you want, you can kind of push it down and try and get it to stick back into place, but the bottom cover will hold it in, so not really a big deal. Okay, so here we go. Now you can see the entire laptop internals. Let me zoom out a tiny bit more, see if I can get a thumbnail for this. Oh, stop wobbling, please. Okay, so there we go. We'll take that as a thumbnail. Let me actually make sure the bottom cover is cleaned up. I don't want it to suck the dust back in and then go bad too early. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna just put this back on now, And the way you put that back in, we are going to have to put this side up first, just like before, because those little latches that go in there. Okay, so make sure that this, you want to actually tilt it forward. Oops. So I'm going to have to, oops, I didn't mean to latch this down yet. So you want to tilt it up forward like this, kind of like a teepee. Oops, we almost forgot one cable up here. Don't forget that, or you won't see that the power light is on. Almost forgot this cable. Let's zoom in there. Where'd it go? Here we go. Okay, and we're just gonna line that up and get that in, and then same thing, latch it over. Okay, I think we got everything now. All right, let's zoom out again, and let's get the bottom cover back on. Okay, so again, we're gonna tilt it like this. Okay, it helps to kind of have it vertical so you can kind of see. And we're just gonna tilt that into that gap. Or actually, you can also even swing it up like that. So that way when you put this in, okay, then you can actually swing it back over on top of it. But it is a little tricky to do it that way, so keep that in mind. All right, we got this. Now we're gonna kind of lift this slightly while we kind of pull it over. Okay, just like that. Oh, and the little corner here, the edge, it goes actually underneath. So that makes it a little tricky. Oops, I pulled the whole thing back off. All right, let's get this back in. Okay. So what you want to do, actually, you want to get this little edge in first. So push that down, slide that in, and there we go. Then we're going to get this, and we're going to slowly work our way over. Does this side have that same latch? Yes, it does. So push this down slightly and latch it in. And there we go. It actually all latched on its own. Not bad. Okay. Yeah, it all latched on its own. So we're good. Let's go ahead and just get all the screws back in, power it up, make sure it works, and we're good to go. All right. So again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. All right. Other than that, again, you are welcome to stay until I get all these screws back in. We are going to power it back up, make sure everything is good. And that should be it. All right. All right, getting there. Then we only got 4 more. And we're gonna plug it in. Again, their battery doesn't hold a charge, so we have to plug it in. When I turned it on, it only booted like partially and then it just shut off. Is this clip not going in right for some reason? Let's see if I can fix that clip. This clip here is kind of bulging out a little bit. Okay. There we go. This clip here on there is just kind of not wanting to line up right. Oh, I'll figure it out. Sorry, the brightness thing was like auto adjusting itself weird. All right, there we go. We got all the screws back in. Let's go ahead and plug it in and power it up and see what we got. Okay. All right, plug this in. Okay, now that we got that plugged in, here. Flip this back over. Plug that in because we want to make sure the computer turns back on. All right, and I see the red light here. That's good. Keyboard's lit up red as well. Right, MSI logo came up, so we should be good to go. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. Like, subscribe, share my channel with others. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.